So today we're going to learn React, and in this video what we're going to learn is go through all the basics of React, right? JSX, creating components, prop, state, lifecycle, event handling, conditional rendering, list, key, form, ref, hooks, and context APIs. So if you are a beginner who want to learn React, then I think this is the best course for you and best video. I don't know how much the length of this video is going to be, but I think this will be the best video you will learn in React. Okay, so if you are a beginner, then I want you to watch the video because I'm going to go through some really basic and natural way of learning React. Okay, so the first thing that I want to tell you is that if you are a beginner, then to learn React is best from documentation. Obviously, if you find documentation overwhelming at the beginning, then I think you can just learn from some Udemy course or tutorials or articles or whatever, right? You can choose anything, but always return back to documentation because documentation is the best place to learn things, and it is given to you by the creator or author themselves. So I mean, this is the best place to learn, I think, is the documentation. So always learn from documentation. That's the first trick. Anyway, without any further talk, let's just go out here and create a project. Let's say npx create react app and create our react app. Obviously you need node.js for it and npm package for it. So just see how you can install that and create the project. Okay, so if you don't have node.js or npm install, then just install those node.js and npm and install the react. So the react app is being created, and as you can see in the documentation, it says that create react app is officially supported way to create a single page app. So single page app basically means that we have one page, and inside that page we are going to create a lot of pages or JavaScript bundle pages, and we are going to run it inside that pages. I will let you know what that means after a moment. Don't worry about that, but basically understand that create react app is created will create a single page application. Basically it will be one page where we are going to load the different components and switch between components there. Also, it is very important to know that react app is actually CSR. So if you are using create react app, then this is going to create a client-side rendering. Basically client means our browser. So if you go out here and like inspect and see the network here, probably refresh this and go and see the refresh network, then you can see there is this JavaScript bundle, right? So you can say runtime.js, main.js. So these are JavaScript bundles, and there are other bundles here as well, uh, coming from the lazy load and everything. So all these bundles are actually executed in the browser or the client, right? So our whole project is actually running inside our browser with the JavaScript bundles, and that's why React is client side render with this create react app. Okay, obviously it can be server side rendered and run in server using Next.js and all other frameworks, but let's focus on React. By default, React is going to do the client side rendering. Okay, let's see what else in is there in documentation. So we have this: getting started, development, styles and asset, building your app, flow, testing, and all of that. I think there's nothing much here. Now let's go into the first thing that we're going to learn in React, and that is JSX React, right? And it's the introduction to the uh, JSX. I'm going to search here JSX. If I can find anything, I don't think I can find anything of regarding JSX. So basically JSX is normal HTML, but it is a different kind of template that React use to write HTML code. So at the end of the day, we're going to write some JSX code which will be compiled into the normal HTML that the browser will understand. You can see here just all the HTML code is there. Only thing difference is the way that we write couple of variables and couple of class names and all of that, right? So in normal HTML you will just write class, but in JSX there you have to write class name. So there are this tiny little difference between between normal HTML and JSS element, which you need to identify, and you will learn about this while going forward with the tutorial. Okay, so introduction to JSX, right? So basically you have to understand that JSX is simple HTML, normal HTML, where you can give variable name like this. You can just give, you can just call a function with these curly braces. Curly braces just gives an option to give your variable name or your function, call your function from here directly. So all these things you can do with the JSX element. Okay, let me show you from the VS Code. If I go to my project, and my project name is obviously my app, so I'll just go out here in my VS Code and go to files and open, and go to documents here. Then I think I have this my app here. So inside this file I'm going to go out here, open terminal, and I'm going to say npm start, which is going to start my local server, and it is going to open my React project. You see the logo is spinning, and we have successfully installed React in our file, right? So let me show you something about JSX. Actually React is very easy. Okay, so always remember, if you are a beginner you might get overwhelmed by so many things, and so many things might happen. Always remember that programming is the easiest thing in the world, and if it is getting difficult, then it is because you are doing something wrong, because it is by default supposed to be easy. Coding and programming is by default supposed to be easy. If it is getting difficult, then it is because you are making it difficult. So with that being said, you can see here the JSX is just like a normal HTML, right? So instead of class we have this class name, and we can give different variable name, right? So let's create a variable here. I'll just say let x equals to 20, like this, and see, I'm going to go out here, save and reload, and in JSX I can give variable inside this curly braces, and just call x. And now if I go to my project, I'll get 20 here, you see. So this is the way where we can give variables, add variables, and operation, right? So this is basic introduction to JSX. There is not much about JSX that you need to know. It's just normal HTML with couple of things that you can tweak and use, and all of that. So yeah, React use JSX to render HTML, and at the end of the day, whenever you bundle it for production, this JSX element is going to be converted into normal HTML, because that's what the browser understands anyway. So let me remove everything from here like this. Just create h1 hello, and let's remove this variable. I just get hello here, which is fine. Second thing you need to know in React is also classes. CSS classes is just class here. You can just add the class and import that class here, like .app.css, and you can change it. So that's what classes does. Another important thing about React is components. So inside source folder, I'll create another folder called components. Inside components, I'm going to create a folder called buttons, or maybe buttons, right? I'll create a file called index.jsx like this, because obviously React runs in JSX template, right? So here I'm going to say rfc, which is going to create this function, which I'm going to call button. Right now this is a React component, so instead of creating everything and writing everything in this file, we can create this reusable component, because we know that in our website button element there are going to be 50 buttons, right? So it's not that you're going to create each button every single time. So it's really better that you create one button code here and just do this, right? So create a button like this, and then you can just go out here and use that component by importing button from the same place and saving it, and now you get your button, right? So now the good thing about this is, let's say my button is name is button, and I want to give it some styles, right? I'll just say class name equals to button dash primary. Okay, I'll just copy the class name, go to my app.css, remove everything from it, probably not the, yeah, let's remove everything from it, just keep button primary, and obviously dot because it is a class name, and I'll just say background color to be blue, like this. Now you can see button has background color blue. Inside here, second thing I want to do is put this app.js, we have app, I'll just go out here, say dot app, and say display flex justify contained center align items center. Now everything will be in the center. And another thing is I want to give flex direction to column, so say flex direction column, right? So top bottom. Now I also want to give it a padding of 10 pixel. Okay, so top button 10, I'll say 30 pixels, so the button is like this. I want to say border, let's style it. Right, so now the button look good. Now just also give cursor pointer to the button. Yeah, so the button looks good, right? Now if I want the same button every time, right, so what we can do here is, let me also show you something. I can just copy this code and paste it here, and we can get two buttons, right? And this is the power of components, right? So we can create one component button here with all these things and all this style, and we can use it multiple time in our project instead of creating them multiple times, right? So this is the best way of doing things, and this is called components. So when we create component like this, now we can use this button component in 1,000 different places in our project, right? And that's why we can use these reusable components in our project. But you might say, okay, now this button is always not going to tell button, right? So button can be buy product, or show product, or add to cart, or contact me, all right, or subscribe, or submit, or anything, right? The name is going to be different, and you are absolutely correct. So now let's give different name to different buttons. So we have two buttons. Also give a little bit margin in the CSS on the button. I'll just say margin 10 20, okay, pixel obviously. Nice, button has margins. So now what we want to do is, obviously we are using two buttons in our project, but we want to give different name to different buttons, because here inside button we have button, but let's say I want to make this button click me and this to be submit me, right? So if I just say click me, then both of the name will be click me, right? And that's why in React we have another very important concept about props. So what is props? Let's go out here, because obviously documentation is the best place to learn things. You can see here passing prop to a component. Let's see here. Inside here you can see rendering a component and then extracting a prop. As you can see, we have this welcome component, and welcome component takes props, right? And also this weird way of passing of things, right? Name equal to this and all of that. So this is what props is, right? Every component in React takes props, and in React whenever we call a component we can pass prop like this. So let me show you in our case, right? So we have this component called button, and in button I want to pass the title of the button, right? Because in this button I want to say click me, and this button I want to say save me, right? And now I want to say title is equals to click me, and in this button I want to say title equals to save me, right? But now the thing is, when this button, where will the title come in, right? So in this button I'm passing the title to click me, in this button I'm passing the same title to save me, and obviously this is prop. And in our component, as I said before, every component in React will take these props like this. Okay, you can see here we are passing the value and it takes the props like this. Now if I'm going to go out here and say console log props like this, if I go to my page, refresh it and see the console log, now you can also see that why I'm doing console log in browser, right? I'm not doing console log in my terminal. There is no console log in terminal because it is not running in our localhost server, right? Because in React everything is client side render and client is our browser, and that's why since our code, React code, is running in the client, we can see the console log in the client. Okay, I can see I get the object save me, and I got the title save me, I got the title click me, and I also got the title click me, right? So our props contain this object title which contains the name of the title, right? So if I just go to my project, and here how can we display variable in JSX? In the curly braces with props dot title. Okay, now if I go out here, you can see here we have two buttons where we have passed a prop. This button takes a prop, and inside the prop we have prop dot title. We are passing the title here like this, so the title will come inside this prop, right? And the first title is click me and second button has title save me, so we can get different name to two different buttons while the button component is the same button component. And this is the power and the magic of React. Okay, so now we know about the props. Let me pass a couple of different things here as well. So let me show you what to pass. Now I want this button not to be click me, but I'll say kill me. Okay, so we have a button which says kill me, and we have a button which says save me. Let's not say kill me, let's just call it destroy me, right? So we have the button called destroy me and a button called save me. Now I want this destroy me button to have a red color, and I want this save me button to have a blue color. So how do we do that? Or whenever, and another thing that I want is I want this destroy me button to have red color and this save me button to have blue color. Okay, let's try that first. But what I also want to do is go out here. Okay, so let's first do that. First I want to say that this destroy me button will have red color and it will have blue color, right? So what I can do is I can just say color is equals to red, and I want this to be color is equals to blue, right? Now inside my button, obviously this color is going to come inside prop, right? Obviously we can also do is destructure the prop, like I can just get title here and also color here, and if I just pass here the title, it will still work, Okay, this is called destructuring, and we can restructure our prop like this as well. But for now, let's just use generic prop like this. Now again, we want to make this color red, this color blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give an inline style. I'll say style is equals to, I'll say background color, and then I'll say if props dot color. Now this is not going to work because obviously we have to keep it inside a string like this. So I'll just go out here, do this and do it like this, and obviously close this. Let's see. So we have background color equals to props dot color, and like this. Okay, it is not closing properly. So you can see here I get the different color in the same button components, right? Now this is also another cool things we can do in React. So now we know what prop is, what everything is, what components are. Now let's get forward with state. Now in React, state is a very important thing, but it is not that important either. Okay, so let's go out here, and what I'm going to do is create a variable x equals to message, right? Like this. Oh, let's say message equals to hi. Now obviously we know that in our React code we can display the variable like this, right? But the problem here is we can only, not hi, it is message. So we can display the variable like this, but we are getting error because our project, in our React JSS component, all the element should actually be wrapped inside a div or like this. And now we won't see the error, or instead of div we can just give something like this, which is called React fragment, right? We can wrap it inside like this if we have multiple element like this message or button. Okay, so let me again show you something, that if you have a button, then this is fine, right? Because this button is a single element. But now if I keep a paragraph here like this p tag and say hello, now this will give an error because now this component is returning two elements. But always remember that a component will only return one element. So to return one element, what we can do is we can create a div like this and put everything inside here. Now since it is a div and everything is inside that div, now it is one element, and that's why it is now okay. Or if you don't want to give a div, you can just give it like this, a React fragment, which is basically the same thing, and you will get hello and everything. Okay, so now this is a cool thing about React components. Now let's see what states are, and let's come back to state. So in this message I'm going to go out here and say hi, not hi, it is a message variable, right? Like this, and you can see I get hi in both sides, right? Now what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to change this message to hello. To change this, I want to, when I click this button, right, when I click this button, then I want to change this hi to hello, just like in the title here. So let's go out here and perform some event handling. So to handle any event, right, so what kind of event does button have? What can you do to a button? You can click a button, right? So the button will have on click event handler. So if I just type click, you can just see I get an on click here. So on click will take a function, so I'll say handle click like this. Okay, now you can see I get an error, it says handle click is not defined, obviously because we are going to define it right now. So I'll just say const handle click is equals to, and inside here what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this message to hi. I'll just say message to hello like this. Okay, and then I'm going to say console dot log message like this. Now if I go to my browser, see my console log, put it right here, go to console, clear it out, and if I click this button, you can see I get hello, right? I get hello because now the message is hello, but you can see I still get hi here. Now that's the problem. If I say click this, I get hello again, but it is still hi. And this is where state comes into action, right? Because what is state is just a variable, but whenever the variable changes, then the component is going to re-render and create a new component with new value. Let me show you. Instead of this let message, let's just say this is a state. So this is a const message and this set message to change the message value, right? So it's just a message variable, and this is a way to change that message variable. And I'll just say use state hook, say use state, and the default value will be high. Again, the message is now high again, right? So if I just go out here, and you can see here the message is the same as the previous variable, and it will contain high like here. But instead of message equal to setting it like this, to change this message we have to set message. So instead of saying message equal to hello, what we can do is say set message to hello, right? And now if you go out here, everything is pretty similar. Refresh it, we get the high because message in the beginning is high. This is the initial value, so the message is high. Now whenever I click the button, the message should be hello, and in here we should get a hello, right? So now if I click me, then you can see I can get hello there. If I click this, I get a hello here now. And this is the difference between a variable and a state. Whenever you change the state, whole component re-render, and you get the new value, right? Previously whenever we change a variable, the component did not refresh, the component did not show me the new data and did not re-render, right? But whenever we change the state, component will refresh and re-render and give me the new state value. So whenever I click this button, this message changes to hello. This message is state, right? Because we are using use state here. Since the state change, component is going to refresh or re-render and show me the message. So now this time message will have hello because we already clicked the button, right? And that's why we get the new value. And this is the power of state, and this looks good. Another state that's very important and you should know is Useefffect state, right? So for that, what I'm going to do is create a value here. I'll just say const data is equals to name bake age 27 and nationality Nepal, like this. Now what I'm going to do is create a Useefffect. So inside here, the same component, I'm going to say Useefffect like this, and I'll just going to say what I'm going to do now is nothing. Let's just take console log. So I'll just say console dot log and say use effect running. So if I just save this and go inside my browser, you can see I get Useefffect running. Okay, so if I just refresh it, I get Useefffect running. Now what I can do is I can just use a dependency array here. It just makes sure that whenever we are running Useefffect, it is running one time only. Okay, so this is the structure of Useefffect. So what is the value of Useefffect, right? Let me show you something. Let's say in our value, what we want to do is we just want to show the message, but before the message we want to show different things, right? So we want to show the name. Let me show you some other really good example of Useefffect. So let me go out here. Let me see what the example here shows. It's a state and life cycle. Tick tick clock, and instead of this I'll just go out there and say use effect react, just to get a good example so I can teach you properly about this. So use effect and everything is connecting to the server. Okay, so let's remove it from here. I'm going to show you completely different example regarding use effect and also remove this. As you can see here, it is a natural way of coding. Obviously I'm not prepared with all the examples because obviously this is just how I do things here. Nice. So let's create another component. I'll just call this component products, right? And I'll just say index.tsx. I'll say rfc and I'll just say product, right? This is another component and I'm going to use this component here and call it product like this. Import it. We're importing it from component slash product. And what is this? If I go to product, we're exporting it. If I go to product, we're importing it. But there is an error in our app.js. I think it is related, error is related to something here probably. What is it? Module not found slash products, right? If I go to products and we have this product file here, export default function product, which is good. We have component button, we have component products. In app.js we have component products. Component product will return product. I think everything is fine. I don't know why I'm getting the error. Let me close it and start it again. All right. I still get the error. Oh, I'm just using tsx. It will be jsx because I don't have TypeScript support right now. Okay, now it will not give an error. So inside this product, what we want to do is we want to show product, right? Now let me go out here and say fake store API. Okay, so this is a free API which will give me the list of product. So let's go to Redux and get all product. So we have this API which is going to give me the list of product and this whole code. Copy it, right? If I go to this, let me show you something here. So if I just go to this URL and paste it, so this URL is going to give me the list of product, right? It's going to title and name and description and everything. So this is just a free API we can use to get the list of product. Let me show you something. So in this product page, I want to display all the product. So how can we do that? Now obviously we have to fetch it, right? So let's say I'm going to fetch it like this. We're going to fetch the product, get the response.json, and I'm going to just doing console log.json. And let me call a variable. So let products equals to empty object for now, right? And whenever we come here and whenever we get the JSON object, let's just say console log like this. I want to do the console log, but before that I want to change this products, right? I'll just say products is equals to JSON, and then here I want to show all the products like this. Let's see what happens if I just refresh this and go out here. And as you can see, objects are not valid to React child, because whenever we are using this object, we cannot pass it like this. We have to convert it into string, and we know what how to do that. We're just going to give json dot stringify and put it product like this. Very simple, nothing fancy in it, right? And we get this empty json object. Why am I getting empty json object when I'm fetching from this API and saving this product in this json? If I go out here, inspect it, go to the console, you can see I get all the value here, right? I have all the products, so the console log is working, but I'm not getting those products here. And we know why that is, right? Because when first time we go out here, the product is empty and it showed the product is empty, so the fetch is going to fetch the data. So after the fetch is completed, we did not get any data, because obviously this product is not a state, and obviously the component is only going to refresh once the state will change. So let's try using state. So I'll just say const and put products here. I'll just say set products to change the products, and I'll just say use state, and first value, initial value, will be an empty object. Also, I'm going to import this use state from React. So instead of setting product like this, since this is a state, we have to set it like set products is equals to JSON like this, right? And now if I go save this, go out here, you see I get all the products, and now this is really cool. But let me show you what the problem is, right? You can see here it is fetching like thousands and thousands of time, right? You can see here, like it is I have to console log to infinity to stop this from working, and this is not good, because this is fetching for like, I don't know, millions of time and it's still fetching, right? So I'm just going to go out here and cancel it for now, all right? Because this is not the right way of doing things. Let me show you what is happening here. We are going out here, we are fetching products, product get fetched, right? State changed. Whenever the state change, the component is going to refresh, right? So let's get the component refresh, and it's going to again fetch it and set the product. Now it's going to fetch the product and set the state. Now the state changed again, and it's going to again fetch it and change the state. It's going to again fetch it and give the new value, and it's going to fetch till the infinity. And this is the case why we need Useefffect, right? Because instead of fetching it is 1,000 times every time the component is going to refresh, if I just cut this thing here, use effect like this, and give this function here like this, and then given in dependency array to be just empty object. Now go out here and refresh this page. Let's start the server first and go out here and refresh the page. Then we get the value here, but if I go to my console log, you can see here it is only happening once or twice, right? It is not happening 1,000 times. It is happening twice, because this is how it works in development mode right now, but it is only fetching once basically. And this is why we use Useefffect, because this Useefffect is only going to run once, because the dependency array is empty, so it is only going to run once. And so what happens is, so the product is empty, so first we'll get an empty products, right? So if I just refresh it, we get an empty object. You can see the empty object here, right? We get the empty object. So after this empty object is shown and component is mounted, this Useefffect is going to run, and then fetch will happen, and the state will change with the set product. So whenever the state change, component is going to be refreshed. But this time, since we are using refreshed, it is not going to run this Useefffect again, right? And that's why this fetch will not be called again, because the dependency array is empty. And that's the use case of fetch to handle side effect, right? We can obviously do this fetch here, but the problem is that it will create side effects, and the side effect is that the set product is going to change and add a new value, and every time component is going to refresh, it's going to fetch and again set product, again change it, again set product, again change it, and it's going to run it forever and ever, right? But we don't want that. We want to run it just once. And with Useefffect, we can put dependency array to empty, and it will just run once. And even if the component is refreshing and re-rendering, this will not run because the dependency array is empty. But if you provide some value in dependency array, let me show you. For example, let's create this normal button here. For now, let's say run Useefffect again, right? And then obviously two element cannot be passed from a component, so let's put it inside this React fragment like this and put it here. And then if I just go to this button and say on click is equals to handle button like this, and then if I'm going to go out here, I will create a const say handle button is equals to, and let's create a state, say const count and set count equals to use state say 0 because the count will be 0 in the beginning, and I'm going to say set count is count plus 1 and refresh this. Go out here, you can see the Useefffect is running. Let's refresh this and you can see the Useefffect is running once, right? But now if I click this button which says use run effect again, then it will still run once, because obviously if I go out here and show the count value as well, right? So refresh it, so the count is 0, right? And let's put it below the button. Okay, so the count is 0. Let's refresh everything. It is running once, count is 0. If I click the count is 2 3 4, so the count is changing. The count is changing, count is state. Whenever state change, component refresh and render, but this will not run because it is empty dependency, so it will just run once. But if I just keep count as a dependency array here and refresh this page, so it will just run once, but whenever the count change, Useefffect will run again, and count change, it will run again, because we are giving count as a dependency. So whenever the count value change, like here, even it is 2 now it is 3, and that's why Useefffect will run again, right? So if you give a dependency array, we can run it multiple times, and this is the use of Useefffect, and that's why you need Useefffect in our project. Got it. Now let's see about conditional rendering. Now conditional rendering is quite important. Let's say I don't need this product for now, I'll just comment it out and just back to our simple example. In this example, what I want to do is when I click destroy me, I want to see a message called destroy me, and whenever it is not destroy me, I want to see a message called you are not destroyed, right? So let's go out here, so let's go to this button. We have this message hi. I don't want to see any message in the beginning, right? I'll just remove it. What I want to see is whenever there is message, I want to show a message. If there is no message, I don't want to show the message, right? So I just want to say this is a message like this, right? And you can see here I get this is a message thing, but I also don't want this, so we can do conditional thing here. So what we can do is if there is a message, then only I want to show this. Now what happens is nothing is shown, but whenever there is message, then I can see that this is a message hello, right? What I can also do is if there is no message, I want to show no message as a paragraph. So I can say is if message is there, I want to show this. If there is no message, then I want to show no messages like this. So you can see here, if I just refresh this, we have no messages, and we had click, this is a message. When I click, this is a message. And in this way we can do conditional rendering in React, right? Now let's do the same thing in our other component called products. If I go to my product component, what happened? product like this. Oh, it's not importing. Let's import it. Useefffect product. I'll just go out here, import it from here directly. I'll just call it products like this, and I'm going to use the product here like this. Okay, now I get all the product in my product. For now I don't want the count. I don't want to run it whenever the button is clicked. I want to run it just once. I'll remove the count and count the state, right? So all I have is product and Useefffect, which is just going to run once only. It is going to fetch product only once because we have this empty object, empty array here, so that we have no dependency. I want to remove these things as well and just a normal div, right? So we have these products. What I want to do is I want to show a card. So let's go out here and see. Let's go to ChatGPT and say create a card component in React with inline styles for now, because I don't want to write CSS and everything for now. So it's going to create me this card component, right? So now let's copy this, and what I'm going to do is created another component, right, called product card like this. Inside here I'll create a file called index.csx and I'll just paste it like this here. So save it and save it like this. Now if I go to my product and comment this out, I can just import the product card if I can. Let's see, the name will be card only, so I'll just say card like this, right? As you can see here, we can import a component inside a component too. Okay, so now if I go to my project, you can see I get the card. I also want to add image, add image in that card too. Instead of that, I'll just say make it a product card. Okay, so it's going to create a product card for me. And I'm going to copy this code and go out here inside my card component and replace it with this for now. Now in my React project, I can see a product card, right? Now if I go to my product space, inside my product card, what I want to do is I have different things. I want product name, product price, product description, but we have that thing here in our product already, right? So if I just go to this JSON and see here, we have product title, product description and everything. So let's use that. Now how to use it? To use anything, we know that we need this curly braces, because if we are going to use, whenever we are using any variable or expression, we need this curly braces. What we have is we have products, right, in our state. So instead products, I'll just say products dot map, and I'm going to say for each product just return to me this card component, right? So for each products I will get the card component, and you can see here we have all these products card component here. But also what I want to say is we want to do if there is no, what to do if there is no product, right? So I'm going to say if products dot length, because obviously the product will be an empty array for now, because obviously the product that we were getting was also an array. So I'll say product is empty. If product dot length is equals to 0, then, or let's also what I can do is if there is no product dot length, right? So if product dot length doesn't exist or it is 0, then I want to show loading product for now, right? So I see here, if I refresh this, I get loading product and all the product. But you can see here the product content different thing, right? So what we can do is we can pass the whatever the card need, right? So card need a title, image, description, price, all of that. And we know that in component we can pass props. So let's pass props like title, right? And we can say here, obviously an object, we are using a variable, so product dot title. Now in our card, let's save this for now. Go to our card component, and our product card component is going to take this prop called title. So let's try it out. So I'll save title, and if I go to my product name, I can remove this and give this variable with this curly braces and call it title like this. So if I get here, you can see I can get all the different title now. Similarly, I can pass other props like price is equals to product dot price, and I can also import same prop here, say it price, and I can provide the price here like this, pric price, and remove this unnecessary stuff that we don't need and close it properly like this. Okay, so you can see I get all the different price here. And the thing that we want is description, right, and image. So I'll just say descript description and image. I'll go out here, so inside my source folder I want to pass image like this. I'll just say image, and in description I'm going to go out here, remove this, and pass description like this. So in our product, what I'm going to do is pass image equals to product dot image, and description is equals to product description, and see it. Then you can see I get all the product and all the description. So if I just refresh this page, I'll get first loading, and then I'll get all the product and all the description. And this is the value of mapping through the component and passing the prop. But you can see here, if I just go to my inspect element and see my console log, it gives me error. It says each child in the list should have a unique key prop. And this is very important because whenever we are mapping, we want to give a unique key to this component, right? So if you are creating a list and we are creating a list or mapping through an object and creating different similar kind of a thing, then what we can do is here we can know that map will take product and also the index, right? So what we can do here is key is equals to index. So we have to provide a key whenever we are mapping through an data and creating a lot of component from that data, right? So in this case we are creating a lot of card component, so we have to provide the key to identify each card component. So if I just refresh this, go out here and refresh this page as well, now you can see I don't get that same key error because we fixed it by giving this key. Okay, so these are the basic of React that I was interested to teach you. I hope you like it, and if you want to know more about React, if you like this and you feel like okay, this was a really good tutorial on React and you enjoyed it and learned from it, then let me know. I will create a really great and full-fledged, totally fully planned course on React for you if you want to. But for now, this is it. I hope you liked it. Thank you so much. Have a good day.